Welcome once again. Welcome to yet a beautiful day, a beautiful TV show. This is Humanist TV Africa, and this is Kato Mukasa. We are talking about the problem with the region today. Dennis, may you please show the photos about how the region is destroying Africa, and then I will continue from there. We are talking about the region today. The problem with the region today. Those are the photos, and I'm going to be talking about that. Take your time, have a look at it. You can see from the photos how the region makes people dull, stupid, and crazy in Africa. You can see how pastors take miracles that they make the lame to walk, yet actually no one is walking because they prayed for them. You can see that a coffin is being brought, that is someone dead, someone is dead in the coffin, and a fake pastor in Nigeria is going to perform a miracle to show that this dead man has been arisen, has been resurrected. Look at these fake pastors in Nigeria. Look at them making fake miracles, of course, making things that are impossible to look possible, that they can raise the dead from death and give them alive. Look at an African worshipping a statue, worshipping an idol of a certain god from wherever. These pastors claim to be offering blessings. Look at a president, a full president, very happy to receive an idol, and very proud to tell others to do so. Look at this woman, they wrote it somewhere alone that she be praying to a certain god of the rocks using the Bible. You can see the stupidity going on here, and you say science can fix stuff, but not your religion. Look at these pastors. I can mention pastors in Africa that are rich, and I can also tell you the richest pastors in the world. I will be surprised that the richest pastors in the world are actually, if you account for the first 10 richest pastors in the world, Nigerian pastors are among the top 3 richest pastors in the world. Chris is one of them. Ayodepo is another pastor. These are porn artists, pastors who claim to be next to God, and they have been known for stealing from Nigerians and from people, faking miracles, having private jets, and doing all these miracles and wonders all over, putting synagogues and churches. Benin is one of the fake impositor who actually has been outed for creating false miracles outed for not paying taxes in the US is a fake pastor, also who has been doing it for a long time as amassed wealth. And it's time to expose these people for the wrong they have done for humanity. All these pastors we saw on the TV are one of the richest in the world. And sadly, among the 10 richest pastors in the world, 5 of them basically are from one country, Nigeria, and of course, many others are from the US. Now, Nigeria has been known for conmen, Nigeria has been known for fraud, Nigeria has been known for so many things, including exporting the fake religions beyond Nigeria. Many of these pastors have opened up churches in Europe. Of course, I wrote a book exposing them, and if you read my book, surely you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. I expose these pastors and how they have been stealing from the people all over the world. They create churches and they create empires, they create businesses, they write books in which they give false hope. Of course, they offer prayers for cash. You can only be prayed for upon paying cash. Of course, these same pastors are fake miracles. They claim to be healing HIV, which is actually impossible. They claim to be healing cancer. They claim to be healing all those dangerous chronic diseases. You know, a pastor will tell you nothing is impossible before God, and will go ahead to pray for you, but also to ask you to give them money. Now, this is the problem with religion in Africa, because as I indicated in my book, The God Business and how the death of reason in Africa, the God business and the death of religion in Africa, I show you how religion has actually drafted the thinking capacities of many people in Africa. People no longer go to work. Actually, people spend time in churches. You can't believe how embarrassing it is for someone to spend an entire week in a church hoping to get free money coming from the heavens to fall. You know, people are lazy, don't work. People are lazy, hoping for a certain God who died so many years ago to come and help them. Welcome on set, my brother Tauya Chinama from Zimbabwe. Welcome. Welcome, brother. Welcome, Tauya.
Thank you very much, my brother Kato. How are you?
I'm okay, sir. Welcome to the show. And how is Zimbabwe? How is Zimbabwe?
I'm hardly getting you. I think maybe you're a bit far away from the mic, but I'm trying to strain my ears.
I should do that. I was asking you, how is Zimbabwe?
So far so good, but not that good, but so far so good.
Okay, that's very good. The only important thing is that we keep alive. We call it survival.
Yeah, I've been down with fever, so luckily yes. I refused to die. I'm still breathing.
Gods cannot die. I'm sorry that I've been sick, and I always say that gods cannot simply die. Gods only die when the mission is accomplished. Your mission is not yet accomplished. There's no way you can die. We are all survivors in one way or another, but we keep on fighting to live for another day. Now, that is comrade brother from Zimbabwe, Harare, Zimbabwe. That is Tauya Chinama. He has an organization called SODA, and of course, several lobby groups, human rights activism he does in Zimbabwe. And he's going to be joining us. Of course, has joined us. He's going to be sharing with us his own perception about how dangerous religions are, especially in Zimbabwe. In fact, Tauya Chinama is an author, has written a book directly tackling these religious issues. So I'm going to be ushering him in again, and he's going to take the mic to tell us more about Zimbabwe and religions. Remember, I've just told you in the introduction that religions in Africa have made people completely dazed. People no longer reason properly in Africa. And I repeat it, many people in Africa no longer reason properly. They have been dwarfed by religious beliefs. People think of miracles. I can tell you, I know a pastor in Uganda, actually two pastors who got a positive, HIV positive person, man, and got him married a person who doesn't have HIV. They get a man who has HIV and convince a woman who has no HIV that this man with HIV will not pass on HIV to her because they have prayed for them. And it became a problem. The church is RCC gay. It was outed by so many people, including Pastor Male, outed this church. And I know this church near CPS. It was in papers. This is a public story. They can't do anything about it. They cannot attack me that I've defamed them. It was all over the news. And this is not the only church where people get married when the pastors are aware that the couple, one of them is HIV negative. Now, this is not against HIV people, but it's against the ethical standards, the lies you tell the other party that, don't worry, even when he has HIV, she has HIV, you will not get it. Now, pastors are doing this in Uganda, at least my mother country, where I'm from. Pastors are doing it. Pastors are selling miracles. Pastors are selling what we call holy rice, holy water, holy handkerchiefs. They are selling all sorts of things. And people spend nights in the so-called night prayers. People spend days. How can someone go to church from Monday to Sunday, from Monday to Monday? And we expect these people to grow intellectually, and we expect these people to grow financially. This is the problem of religion in Africa. We see in Uganda where religious people defend the atrocities meted on the people of Uganda just because they support the president who gives them money, who buys them vehicles, who gives them money to build churches. Our priests in Uganda, many of them actually support the dictatorship we face in Uganda. Our priests in Uganda are at the forefront of condemning homosexuals and promoting their lynching. Many of these priests actually want homosexuals dead. And these are so-called men and women of God. But they openly say, kill homosexual. And as a result, many homosexuals have run out of the country. They are in filthy camps such as Kakuma camp in Kenya, thanks to religious bigotry that promotes hate in Uganda. Now, these are the situations we're talking about when you talk about Africa. Look at our education system, where our syllabus is doomed with religious scripts. People are told that someone can actually put saliva in soil and make your eyes see. Someone is told that actually someone can say mambo jumbo words and you get money and you pass exams. Before students go to exams, they are told to pray that God is going to help them pass exams. Sometimes students don't even revise enough because they expect a miracle to happen. I've seen people committing suicide because they want to go and meet God. They are tired of being here. They are expecting a different life up there. I've known jihadists who commit suicide, the so-called suicide bombers, who go and detonate themselves in aeroplanes on buildings. We remember September 11 in the US, where the Twin Tower was bombed by jihadists. Now, all these things are true, that it's religion that makes the ridiculous look normal. Religion makes the absurdity look fine. Welcome, brother. Tauya Chinama. I'm just giving my part of the bargain. I want to invite you. I've just told the audience that you are an author of a book which touches on this very subject matter. And I want to invite you to talk about Zimbabwe and how religion has affected that beautiful country, which was once a food basket of Africa.
Right, my network is a bit poor. I hope I'm audible enough to.
You are audible. I can hear you, and we shall not blame you for the network because you have no control over the network.
All right, thank you very much. Religion is something like a double-edged sword. It's very, very difficult to give it one definition, and where, especially in Zimbabwe, where we are not most of the people, yes, are very religious, but a population of non-religious people is estimated to be around 10%. Though majority of them, they are not open, but people, it seems some of them, they're bored and they don't want to associate with a particular religion. Sometimes because of how religion sometimes is being reduced into somehow entrepreneurship by some men of cloth. And I think it's high time in Zimbabwe that we should actually look into religion and study it seriously. In 2020, I write a book on parenting. The book is from a humanistic point of view, where I encouraged parents to try by all means to give information and knowledge to their children about different religions, so that when they choose one of these religions, or when they choose to be non-religious, they choose from an informed people, from informed position and as informed people. Because for Zimbabwe, we were colonized by Britain. That alone makes Christianity the majority religion in Zimbabwe. Yes, being majority religion doesn't mean that Zimbabwe is a Christian country. Yes, we have situations like our neighboring country, Zambia, which actually declared itself a Christian nation. And I am sure Zimbabwe is not far from being declared a Christian nation too. If I look at those who are into politics, majority of them that trying to get votes by labeling themselves as Christians and try by all means to drag religion into politics, which I think is a disaster. As a person who believes in secularism, as a person who believes that we should separate church and state, I foresee a danger, and I foresee something which is not so good. And sometimes when sometimes religion is not a bad thing if we are to look at it. In Zimbabwe, a number of schools, best schools, are religious schools, particularly Catholic schools in Zimbabwe. But it's fine when a particular religion is not given prominence, because once one religion is given prominence, it becomes a very bad thing. For example, our Minister of Education in 2015 introduced the new curriculum, which was meant on instilling religious tolerance among the scholars. So he substituted the Lord's Prayer with a national pledge. A number of parents didn't like it, but they didn't know that in the long run, what the minister was doing is actually beneficial for the country. It actually helps people to respect each other. But since the percentage of those who are non-religious who can understand the consequences of prioritizing one religion over another are very few. So, democracy sometimes doesn't take away the problem of tyranny. We still have what we call majority tyranny. When the majority are misguided or wrong, surely we have majority tyranny. And majority tyranny is worse than
Yes, colleagues and viewers, of course, you have to excuse us. The network can be so bad, and remember, this is an online TV. Please excuse us whenever you see one of our colleagues getting off. I'm only lucky because I'm airing from the UK, where my network is good, and I'm using the Vodafone line. My network is Vodafone. Basically, I don't use Wi-Fi. I use directly a line which is Vodafone, and it's
tyranny
really
of
good
majority.
for me to be able
It's
to
very
air.
difficult to convince majority because you are ostracized, you are segregated, And sometimes you might feel that I should be a closer
Hmm. Yes, we are losing you, and I've been explaining to the viewers that we have a challenge with network, and please excuse us. We are going to pause Tauya Chinama for some time, then pause him a bit, let him organize himself, of course. Let us welcome our comrade from Ghana, Nana Kufo. Nana, welcome.
Thank you, Comrade Kato. I hope you are doing well.
I'm okay. I'm doing well, brother. Thank you. Yeah. Are you okay yourself?
Well, what else should I ask for? I'm good, and by the grace of the Humanist TV,
Thank you so
everything
much.
is
I'm
everything
happy to hear that.
everything is on point.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, we
Okay.
are discussing the problem with the region today, and I've just showcased a few photos, which, of course, we had the privilege to see before we went on air. And I was telling the people about the dangers of the region, especially in Africa, and how it is affecting us, how we don't normally think straight. We are no longer thinking, but we are sinking. I always use that word personally, that we are no longer thinking, but we are sinking human beings. Like if you're in a boat, we are going under and under and under and under the water, as if someone is throwing us below the bars or under the bars. Now, this is Africa of the 21st century, where people are not thinking, but are sinking, where we are killing each other over religions which the colonizers and imperialists brought and enforced on our ancestors. We claim to know more of Allah than those who brought us Allah. We claim to know more of Jesus than those who brought us Jesus. Those who brought us Jesus, our English masters, are no longer following Jesus that much. In fact, majority of them, 51% of the English people today as we speak, are no longer religious. Turn
Yeah.
around in Ghana, turn around in Africa, it's the opposite. We are getting more and more excited, taking on a Jesus Christ. Yet those who gave us the Jesus Christ actually have abandoned him because they realized that it was all politics and fake. Now, I want to encourage you and welcome you on the show, my brother from Ghana, Nana Kufo. And of course, I want to invite you to have your say on how the region has damned the beautiful nation, once a powerful empire called Ghana, which was supplying the entire world with gold. Ghana was the richest,
Yeah.
had the richest empire in the world. At one time, Ghana was feeding the entire world with gold and minerals. The history of Ghana is one of the richest. Ghana people had their own gods, and they are very proud and strong men who fought battles. I can tell you the empires in Ghana, it will be amazed, but of course you know. But I've read the
Yeah.
history of Ghana. I was in Ghana and I visited Ghana because I love to find out what I was reading in books, how it were in physical. And I love the country. It was a great country. It is a country where many people were failed and taken to the US and built the UK and built the US
Yeah.
and other countries because Ghana is so near to the West by virtue of the transportation that you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, Ghana has a history that is connected to the West so clearly. So it was always easier to move people from Ghana to the rest of the world. And that's
Yeah.
how Ghanaians contributed to the civilization of the world. But today, Ghanaians are building a cathedral worth billions of Ghanaian money to praise a God that actually never existed.
Yeah.
Welcome, Nana Kufo.
Thank you, Comrade Kato, and I love all that you said. And speaking of Mansa Musa, the king of the ancient Ghana Empire,
Yeah.
he was some way somehow also indoctrinated and took most of our good,
Yes.
from West Africa. He wanted, he held a pilgrimage to Mecca, and I learned everywhere he landed. the prices of good fell because there was so much good with him that good it becomes it doesn't becomes an expensive commodity anymore. And thank you very much. All that you said, comrade. Sometimes I wonder how so much knowledge can be, embedded in one person. And from your background, from your father, from your grandfather, no wonder you are such a person as you are, because they have the interest of critical thinking at stake. So we will all strive to also build our families like how your family were able to
Thank you so
build
much,
you.
sir. Let me
Yeah.
pause here a bit because you are exciting me. Let me give the audience a bit of who was Mansa Musa. You just said
Okay.
it, and I
I,
have
I
the
would
whole
love
story.
I would love to hear that.
Let me give the entire world a bit of who was Mansa
Master.
Musa. Now, this is, though disputed, but has been said for so many years, that Mansa Musa was the richest man on earth.
Yeah.
Was, and the historians may make mistakes, but in most cases they're accurate. Why was Mansa Musa and his kingdom so powerful? Why did the Europeans, the Arabs, come to worship Mansa Musa? They came literally to beg him to accept to work with them.
Yeah.
Because Mansa Musa had a powerful army that was so hard to defeat. And besides, he had the wealth that the world wanted. This is what makes Ghana and the nearby countries, because Mansa Musa's empire was actually so big, it was beyond Ghana.
Yeah.
Now, he was ruling thousands and thousands of soldiers that was surrounded by tens and tens of thousands of soldiers himself, and was himself a better fighter and a better speaker and an orator, and was a handsome man. Now, he was physically fit, energetic, and powerful. At the same time, he had the gold. And by that time, the gold was the language the Arab world and the rest of the world understood, because value was measured in terms of how much gold you had. And Mansa Musa's empire, the kingdom, if I can call it that way, had what the entire world wanted. Now, he was confused at one point that he became a Muslim.
Yeah.
And he was enticed to go on a journey to Mecca. Now, that journey was historical, that wherever he passed, the economies crumbled. Wherever he passed, the economies, they were economies already. They were kingdoms already.
Yeah.
But Mansa Musa went with thousands of soldiers and slaves, all of them carrying gold. Gold. Now, when he reached a kingdom, he was given entry, and he would go to see another king or chief, and then what does he do? He gives this chief and the people around him gifts of gold. Now, it meant that the economy, the value of the money in that economy was destroyed because people had too much gold with him. But now, remember that when there's too much money in supply, what happens in economics?
The economy's fault,
In economics, when you have too much money in supply, the problem is there's an inflation.
Inflation,
There's an inflation now because there's too much money. Now I have to hike my products. Now it means that the poor won't be able to buy. The only few who has the money are going to buy. Now, Mansa Musa was causing inflation wherever he went, up to the so-called holy place. Now, he left a history. Now, what happened? The Europeans, the Arabs noticed him and plotted how to get wealth from him. They began undermining him. He fought back, but of course, he couldn't win at the end of the day when they had combined. But Mansa Musa's kingdom, his wealth, his influence lives up to now, that it's on record that has been regarded for so many authors, by so many authors, as the richest man in the world.
The world, yes.
The richest man in the world. Anyone can Google it. It has been debatable, but because he was so rich for his time that no one in the world has these riches, people had to move from Europe to come to Mansa Musa's empire to beg for gold. Please make us rich. That's how strong Ghana's history is. That's how strong Ghana's history is. And of course, the empires, the kingdoms that he had covered, because it was beyond Ghana a bit. Please continue. I wanted to give you that kind
yes, and it's so good that to know the background of Mansa Musa. We too consider ourselves as kings and queens, coming from the background of Mansa Musa. So the problem with religion in Africa is sometimes disheartening, and if you are not strong, if you are very emotional, you shed tears every day, because we are living in this part of the world where religion supersedes everything, where superstition takes the entire ideology, the entire worldview of our people. It is not an African problem. People can Google about Peter Popoff and the James Randi debacle in the United States in the early 80s, when this wireless headsets were coming into the existence. Peter Popoff and the wife. Peter Popoff was a priest, was an evangelical priest. That was the time many evangelical priests existed in United States, and they still exist. And he was making so much money, making so many miracles, that this gentleman, James Randi, a humanist, a scientist, I'll say he's all around. He decided to investigate this man of God, because we atheists, we humanists, it's not as if we believe. We know that what exists, what doesn't. So how can you be claiming this and that? So James Randi investigated Peter Popoff and find out that Peter Popoff and the wife will, as we do in our churches, will put some sheet of paper outside the church and tell everybody that they should write their name, the place they come from, their problems, and they will submit it to the altar of God, so that God will listen to your problems. And so the wife will sneak and take these papers and stays in another room, different from where Peter Popoff was, not different from the congregation, where the church, the main church. So Peter Popoff will be preaching, and the wife will be telling him Anna Arta from Ohio or from Texas, a back problem. So whilst Peter will be preaching, he will be telling the people, there is a certain woman in this set. Her name is Anna Arta. She came from Ohio. She has this problem, she had this problem, and the Spirit of God has ordered me to heal her today. Can you imagine? Wow, I haven't met anyone. I haven't spoken to anybody. I haven't spoken to the pastor. Yet this pastor is calling me by my name, calling me by the place I came from, telling me my problems. God is merciful. So people fell in love. He became so rich until James Randi, together with, I think, the police of the American police, investigated him and find out that he was using the system where the wife communicated what is being written on these sheets of paper to him. And when they find out and it came out, Peter Popoff declared bankrupt. So recently, I learned he's back. I searched him on Facebook and in Google, and he's working again. Peter Popoff is working again, and the same people, the same PhD holders, the same scientists, the same medical doctors, the same people, the same teachers he was deceiving are back into his church. So I wanted to make this scenario so that people will know that it's people who know how powerful religion and how it is not native to us Africans, but throughout the world, religion has been able to manipulate, has been able to downgrade people to their barest minimum. And coming back to Ghana is a pity, and I'm always emotional talking about how religion has defeated reason and logic in Ghana. Can you imagine, Kato, that
Yes.
in Ghana, as we are speaking, almost all the facets of our life is being controlled by religion. So if you don't belong to that particular religion, which means you are going to struggle in the society that claims to love you. Can you imagine if you are going to marry, you have to belong to a religious affiliation, and even not, especially if you're a Christian, you don't have to even be a Christian. You have to belong to a particular denomination, a particular sect of Christianity, before the families can agree to marry you. Even before the woman or the girl, the so-called woman or the so-called man you are going to marry, you have to belong to a particular. And the pastors insist, and I've seen broadcasters insist on radio stations that if you don't want trouble, marry from your denominations. Religion has pushed us to the world that if you go to the hospitals, as I'm talking to you,
Yes.
medical doctors and nurses are advising people to take their illness, their ailment, to fetish priests, to other men of God. And if a medical doctor, if a medical nurse, a professional trained nurse, a Florence Nightingale nurse is telling the patient that this sort of illness doesn't belong here. It is not scientific. It is spiritual. Who am I? I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nurse. I don't have any job in though I've worked with the medical profession as a lab scientist. I've worked with MedLab a very long time ago. So I came to know about all these things, and this medical nurse will be telling. So they are the agents of these pastors. So when you come to the hospital, they will advise you, because the doctor says he doesn't see anything wrong with you. So it is not a scientific. I don't know how they explain how they are able to explain differences in sickness, especially if you have a mental mental sickness. They will tell you to go to a fetish priest, to go to this man of God, and they are the agents. I don't know if they are being paid for that. So even your own brother, your own family member, if you get to know anything about it, and you get to advise them that no, they should go to the Orthodox doctors, or the Orthodox, they should admit themselves to the Orthodox medicine, they will not agree with you, because in this situation, this is the professional telling him that that sort of disease, that sort of sickness doesn't belong to the Orthodox medical center. So religion has hijacked everything. Right now, even your own family, there are so many families which have been broken because of so-called pastors. I'm telling you, when I first did my show, it was Science and Religion. That was around 2012 at Garden City Radio. There was a particular day when before the studio, before the studio session, this grown-up man came to me, and he was crying, grown-up man, and he said he has been living in the United States for over 40 years. It is the mother who was doing some petty business here in Kumasi. You know, our women, if you come to the Central Market, they are hard-working women. So the woman, he was the only son, and he had 3 sisters. So the woman didn't take care of. He said the other sisters weren't able to further the education because she was a single woman, and able to take this gentleman to the United. What I'm saying is, some pastor was able to convince this man that the mom is a witch, and she's she is the source of the problem of her of his. He had problem marrying with a woman. So he say like he has problem with his waist something, and everything was attributed to the mom. So for about, and the man was well to do. He has a very big house in Accra, and the mother was living there. He sacked the mother to the village. He wasn't taking care of the mother. The father, the pastor was rather living in the house using his cars and everything. So this man came to Ghana and he was driving in. Fortunately, unfortunately for others, he was listening to the program and he said, what we were saying was giving him an impression. So he went back, sat down and thought about it and listened to. He was in Ghana at that time. He was in Kumasi, and he has taken the mother back. He realized the mother depression has and I think he also said menopause and depression have taken toll on her. So mentally she was unstable, something like that. And so she has taken the mother back to the house, taking care of her, taking care of the family, right? Because he is the only person the family can count on. And because of a certain, he has sacked the pastor from the house. Nothing happened to him. The pastor has sold 2 of his cars. He doesn't care. He because the police will not buy his story. And right now, everything because of our show, because he came to Ghana and was listening to our radio show. So this is what religion can do, and it is not. I know even most of us have this thing has been happening to us. Because there was a time I remember my stepmother took me to a pastor of hers that the pastor should examine me spiritually. The pastor told her there's nothing wrong with me spiritually. But no, I didn't believe, but because she took me there, she didn't force me. She gave me money, and with money can move mountains. And I went to church with her. I didn't know she was thinking maybe I was a demon or something, and I was there for the pastor to examine if I'm a wizard or a demon. And so it has been happening to every family. And I think what we pride ourselves is the family unit, because it is because of the family that we are happy. It's all the family that Africa is Africa. That is why we won't trade our places for anywhere else, because the family makes life good. The family makes life reasonable. It gives meaning to life. But with this superstition and religion, it is breaking down families. Right now, many women believe their pastors more than their husbands, more than their fathers, more than their family members. You see, I remember a sister of my mom. She was in United States. Right now, she's in Ghana. She sent money to my mom to be given to a pastor for, here we call it akwanchere, which directions, because she has been having problem with her knee, and she's in the United States, and every time the winter comes, she can't bear it. My mom is in Ghana, and I think all of them have that problem with their knees. I think it's a family distance. They all have that problem. But she was thinking it's a spiritual, and the pastor has been able to convince her that it's a spiritual. So she sent the money to my mom to be given to around, I think, 8,000 cedis. So my mom is a Christian. She's a believer, but she called me and told me, "Oh, this money I'm going to give to the pastor, I don't like it." She herself is a Christian, and she knew what but it is not her money. It is not her money. When she complained to her sister, the sister, because she's older than her.
I'm sorry, but I was enjoying given that we have had
yes.
We have about 16 minutes to go, and we have Obasi in the studio. Obasi, you are welcome. Thank you so much. By the way, I was not able to I'm going to respond, but let us welcome Obasi for now.
Thank you, Nana. Thank you, Comrade Kato. Good morning from here.
Good morning to you, Council Bassi. You found us talking about religion and how it has destroyed Africa. And my brother was talking about an example of his own family where things are going bad because of the region. Of course, he talked about Ghana, gave so many examples. And when you found, when I'd given the example of the richest man, arguably in history of mankind, is Mansa Musa. I know you've heard about him. And I talked about that guy who basically it is argued that Mansa Musa promoted Islam in the entire West African region, thanks to his wealth. What did he do when he was too rich? He went to Egypt to do a pilgrimage at a place called Makkah, not the Mecca of Saudi Arabia, but Makkah, M-A-K-A-H, Makkah. So he went there to Egypt, and the money he took, it is said that he went with 100 camels. Each camel was having 300 pounds of gold. But he had 100 camels. He had 12,000 slaves, all of them carrying gold. And he had 8,000 courtiers. And then thousands of bodyguards. And then when he reached Egypt, what happened? Too much money, inflation, that the Egyptian economy was given too much gold, that it was disturbed for 12 years to recover. It took 12 years for the economy of Egypt to recover from the riches that Mansa Musa put there, because almost everyone was rich. Almost everyone was rich. One of the magazines that put wealth accumulation and ranks people, it's called Celebrity Magazine, ranked Mansa Musa to have had by that time an equivalent of 400 billion US dollars. At that time, someone to have an equivalent of 400 billion US dollars. That was Mansa Musa, and the kingdom was big. It was not about Ghana. I'll just give Ghana as an example. It was in Niger. It was actually what we call Mali Empire. It was in Nigeria. It was in the present-day Mali. It was in Chad. He had a vast kingdom. Like literally the entire West Africa was a Mali empire under one kingdom, under one emperor.
And Mauritania too.
Sorry?
I said Mauritania too.
Exactly, and Mauritania.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
Ghana, Chad, Mauritania, Nigeria, Niger, and all these other countries. You know, it was Senegal, of course. There is Senegal. And now, in brief, you can see that our history of religion in West Africa, where you guys come from, there is a man who has a hand in it that actually brought it, that encouraged it. Actually, Mansa Musa did something good because he built a university called Sankore.
Yeah.
Which university was actually rivaling with Alexandria in Egypt, and actually went ahead to use this money to buy thousands of textbooks from Egypt and put them in Sankore University. He built schools, and that was actually good, but also he built so many mosques almost all over West Africa. Now, when we ask about the history of religion in West Africa, we cannot do it without mentioning Mansa Musa.
Yeah.
Now, you can imagine the effect of one man with wealth and bringing a lot of confusion in the minds of people. And today, they are killing each other over that very region. Back to you, Council. You are going to be concluding this. Council Bassi. Bassi, can you hear me, sir? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Please go ahead. It's your time.
All right. In a nutshell, I would say that religion is a belief and worship of a Superman, not a human being, a Superman. It is, yes, it is even gender-based. It's gender-based belief that promotes male chauvinism. In Christianity, there is God and no goddess. There is son and no daughter. The foundation of the foundation of gender discrimination and male superiority is religion. It has encouraged toxic patriarchy because, according to Karl Marx, religion is an opium for the masses.
Yes.
So you can imagine Shehu Sani, a former Nigerian senator, while addressing the recent Supreme Court ruling, making Tinubu the rightful democratically elected president of Nigeria. Instead of issuing a critical appraisal of the Supreme Court judgment, he was appealing to, God, making all sort of God-based assertions. I think it is absurd. Well, no wonder Dawkins. Can you hear me?
I can hear you properly, very well. Please continue. I just
All right. No longer Dawkins refers to religion as God delusion.
Yes.
No wonder Sigmund Freud regarded religion as the unconscious mind's need for wish fulfillment.
Yes.
This is why we, as real conscious minds, as real conscious humanists, should refuse religiosity. We refuse to be religious. For me, religion is an unprosecuted misrepresentation and fraud. Oh yes, because some of the things that they appeal to are false cause, are false beliefs. It is unverified. So when you make a statement that is not verifiable, unverified statement that have caused loss of money or loss of fortune, it is fraud and misrepresentation. You understand? This view stems from, yes, my view that some of the things they believe, some of the religious belief make religion fraudulent stems from the situation we have here in Nigeria. Fake prophecies, staged fake miracles everywhere. In fact, I think very soon the humanist community will begin to sue Nigerian clerics for fraud as a public.
Yes, we are missing you. We are losing a bit. Viewers, please excuse us. Of course, we have a challenge with network. Our colleagues are in Africa, and there is a problem with network many times. But we shall always continue to deliver our best, regardless of the challenges with the internet connectivity. But of course, we have heard from Obasi. It was flowing very well. And of course, has defined religion from philosophical point of view, Sigmund Freud, and of course, Dawkins and others. And he has said it all, even in his brief appearance right in this show, that religion is a sham. Religion is a sham. There's nothing much we are going to get out of it. We can be excited about heaven and gods, which actually are fairy tales, which don't exist. But in actuality, Africa won't move forward thanks to the religion. Now we have to detoxify ourselves from the curse called religion. The curse which our ancestors actually believed in too, because our ancestors worshipped snakes, worshipped mountains, worshipped lakes and rivers, worshipped so many mystical things. Then the Europeans brought their confusion with Jesus, the Arabs brought their Allah and Muhammad, all the confusion and nonsense Africans have accepted. Now we are here to say, please wake up. Do they wake up? It's time to think for ourselves and do good better. Dennis, please play for us the last segments of the photos again to showcase how religion is destroying Africa, and we shall be back with our episode number 2. But let us end this show with those photos. Dennis, please, in the studio. Dennis and Brian are working on that. That's the book. Please get a copy of my book, The God Business and the Death of Religion in Africa. Please get a book. Dennis is giving you my Amazon link. That book is well researched. It took me over 10 years to put down. And trust me, that one book is going to help you escape the prison called religion. Go to Amazon, look for Kato Mukasa, put in The God Business and the Death of Religion in Africa. Trust me, you are going to find a new meaning about life. Look at these thieves we call pastors in Africa. They are stealing everyone. They're even stealing from the unborn. These thieves we call pastors. They are so rich. They are among the richest people in the world. They are among the richest people in the world. They own private jets. Thanks for sending prayers. That's the calendar of Nigerian pastors, come or dubbed thieves. who actually masquerade with churches. They sell miracles, they sell prayers, they even fake to heal and resurrect the dead. They fake to heal the lame and people with HIV, with cancer. They say they can actually medically heal them thanks to their prayers. That's been him. Of course, he has been reported widely for the scams and evading taxes in the US. And of course, staging miracles. Good morning, Holy Spirit. That is Ben Hinn. He has been known, it's on record, you can Google it, for faking miracles and fleecing people of their hard earned money. Bishop David Olanyi Ayedepo, one of the richest pastors in the world, not in Nigeria, in the world. He owns a private jet and is famously rich, and he makes fake miracles. That is Apostle Johnson Suleiman, the same fake pastor in Nigeria, among the richest in the world. They own private jets, they own hotels, businesses. That is Pastor Chris. Chris, one of the richest pastors in the world. Whatever I say, please, you have a phone there, please Google it. You will see Pastor Chris, one of the richest pastors in the world. Not in Nigeria, Adibohe, one of the richest pastors in the world, among the first 10 richest pastors in the world. That pastor there features there. But what does he do? He sells miracles. Ayedepo, the same, one of the 10 most richest pastors in the world, not in Africa, in the world. These pastors come from Nigeria, where a country has over 200 million people, but half of the population cannot earn $1 a day. But these pastors, I call them pastorpreneurs in my book, are freezing the people, selling them miracles. They cannot even heal an amputee, but they say that they can make you walk. They create miracles. Look at these women, very confused. They go with their Bibles in the mountains, in the hills, on the hills, and then waste time there reading a Bible which has stories that never existed. The Bible talks about floods that never existed, Adam and Eve that never existed, that they were the first people on earth, that another person was got from another person's lip, stupid fake stories that actually never existed. And then the paraded. Look at this politician, president actually, getting this idol from this man. Now, imperialism and colonialism continue because our politicians actually sanction it. That's how things work in Africa. You get an image like that, an idol, a statue made of bags of cement and color, and then you call it Jesus Christ. All these pastors, simply Google them. Trust me, people have been coming out to say they are fake. They have been freezing from them. They have been making them do only things. Even African traditional religions are bad. This guy is worshiping his own gods. But this is bad. These gods don't exist. Our gods in Africa never helped us. They are fake. Don't waste time on them. Look at this guy kneeling before a statue, an idol of Maria, the mother of a so-called Jesus. Look at a big man worshiping bags of cement colored with blue and white and bronze. And this man thinks that is God. Look at these people. They are bringing a coffin with someone who is alive and is pretending to be dead. And the pastor is going to come and say, I have resurrected you. Come on. Pastors in Nigeria are resurrecting dead people. That is interesting. Now, these guys cannot be far from comedy. This is comedy. That this pastor in yellow actually is resurrecting a dead man. Now, the dead man and his wife are so happy because now he has resurrected. And you can see these pastors say that they can heal the lame people. But when you tell them, please go to the hospitals, people are dying in the hospitals, go and heal them there. They don't want to go to hospitals, but they want to heal people from churches, as if their God only exists under that roof. Their God cannot work in hospitals. Their God is dead when it comes to going to the public TV and showcase, but their God only works in the presence of a church. Now, these churches have majority women. They can eat grass. They can do anything evil in the name of religion. Women in Africa are obsessed with gods. They cry as they pray. They spend night prayers in church. They cry every day. They pray every day. Why? Because they are oppressed, they are poor, and they are ignorant. And they think God is the solution. This man, look at them. Some of these pastors, basically, look at these pastors. Look at these reverends. with big tummies, big stomachs of corruption. Stomachs of corruption. Every chicken is in that stomach. Every portion, every beans, every cow, every goat is in that big stomach. They are filthy corrupt. Now look at this one. That Jesus is coming is now online. We are using this time to showcase to you that these are lies. Wake up. These things are not real. It's a business. Look at this one, faking. The Holy Spirit has actually entered him. Look at this stupid faking man. Look at this woman delusional. These are my fellow Africans, and I'm black like them, and African like them, but I think they are delusional. I'm thinking they are so stupid. Look at this woman, honestly, delusional, sick, distraught, and she's shouting. She must go to a mental hospital, not actually church. Look at them. They waste time in church, and they spell, waste money, time. They are poor because they spend time praying. These three religions are the problem today as we speak. One is Judaism, another one is Christianity, another one is Islam. As we speak right now, these religions are fighting against each other. They are the problems. They call them the Abrahamic religions. Nana, since we are here, our time is over. I want you to use 2 minutes as you laugh to conclude. Actually, conclude and say goodbye. I won't speak anything. Me, I'm done.
Yeah, I was enjoying your commentary. And I wonder what the Christians will be thinking right now. They say, this man.
They will attack me as usual.
Okay.
Yeah,
thank you.
You are concluding and you are saying goodbye. I won't say anything.
Yeah, thank you very much. And Humanist TV, it is here to stay. It is here for the deluded. It is here for the humanists, and it is here for all of us. So let us all of us make it our habit of tuning in to Humanist TV every day. My name is Nana Kofo, and I'm from Ghana. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye. He has closed it. Thank you so much, Dennis. Thank you so much, Kabeko Brian. Thank you so much, Tawia Chinama. See you in the next one.